Welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is January 31st, and that means day 31 of the 3DP 365 project. And on this episode, we're going to show you how we printed out the Realistic Bulbasaur, so stick around. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for day 31 of the 3DP 365 project. If you're unfamiliar with the project, check out the description below. I put a fact section down at the bottom that'll give you all the details. But on today's episode, we're going to show you how we printed out this really cool realistic Bulbasaur. And for this print, we used MatterHackers PRO PLA in the color of purple on our brand new gMax 1.5 XT Plus. While browsing around on Thingiverse for something really cool and small to print with a lot of detail, I came across this realistic Bulbasaur from the Pokemon. Now, I'm not a big fan of Pokemon, but I couldn't resist. This is a really cool little model. And it's got a lot of detail, and it does need a little bit of support because there is a little bit of air printing. And our print turned out pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with the results. So let's head over to Thingiverse and I'll show you where to download the model. Then we'll tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for this print. Then we'll fire up some of that time-lapse footage and we'll meet you guys back here at the workbench. Okay, so here we are at Thingiverse, and here is the Realistic Bulbasaur, and I'll put the link down in the description so you can download and print this yourself. And there's a couple of different versions. I think this is just the bulb of the Bulbasaur. I'm really not familiar with Pokemon. Someone else can tell me in the comments. But nonetheless, this is a very, very cool model. And of course, we've already printed ours. So let's tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for this print. Okay, so here we are in Simplify 3D, and I've dropped the model down on the print bed at 100%, and this is my factory file, which has all my settings and my model saved. And I did add support where I thought it was needed, so let's check out my process settings. Under layer height, we did a 0.16mm layer height with 3 top and bottom solid layers, and 3 perimeters. We did run a brim by entering 0 in the skirt offset at 4 outlines. For infill, we used 20% for this little model. We did generate some support material. This is MatterHackers PRO PLA, so I adjusted my temperatures accordingly to 203 and 206. We did set up the 3-stage cooling system again with 0 on the first 2 layers, 60% on the third, and then we're jumping up to 80% on the 6th layer. For speed, we ran this out at 45 millimeters per second, so let's hit OK, and let's hit Prepare to Print, and I'll show you how it slices. And that was a real-time slice for this very detailed model. And let's hit play and I'll show you how it prints. And as you can see, in some areas the support is really needed because we are printing in air. So we'll speed this up to the end. And we'll drag our slider down. And there it is. There's our finished piece. And of course we've already printed ours, so let's fire up some of that time-lapse footage and I'll meet you guys back at the workbench. Alright, so that was a cool little bit of time-lapse footage, and here is the realistic Bulbasaur, and I'll put some close-ups into the end like I always do. But I can tell you that some parts of the model are a little bit rough because they were built completely on support. But the rest of the model's looking pretty good. And there is a lot of detail, a little fine detail. And I do have a 0.5mm nozzle. So if I had a finer nozzle, I think a lot of this detail would have turned out better. But nonetheless, I'm happy with the print. And of course, this was more of a test just to make sure my MatterHackers PRO PLA would work good with my gMax. And of course it does. Well, that about wraps it up for day 31 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope you found this episode interesting. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos. And join me again tomorrow for the very next episode of the 3DP 365 project. This guy is really cool, and he's definitely a candidate for gMax sizing.